there's a lot of people that want to learn how to read and write in autumn. So that's what this session is about. I don't know what to call it. This video is about. Um, and I wanted to just want the hugmaya marshama autumn. But I know matbiasmama no ko either that it's going to be, anybody that wants to see it will see it. But primarily for the autumn people, how to read and write in this language. I don't agree with that this is the only way to teach it. I think the best way is to immerse yourself to learn any language. It doesn't really come through the reading and writing, but it's an aid. It's mirigan him like mabag that even in the stories, the cultural myth, it talks about hugi. But this is the way that we're doing things nowadays. And so since we're stuck in this COVID times, let me teach somebody, at least one person out there, how to read and write in this autumn. Now, like, there's a lot of orthographies, a lot of ways to read and write in autumn. But this one I'm going to show you first is called the Hale Alvarez method. Alvarez was autumn, and so I think that's why Hale that he wanted to write this system down. And a little bit different. It's a harder way to read and write in autumn. I think the other one, Saxton, is a little bit easier to understand. It's a little bit easier to read because it's just out there. But this way, the Hale Alvarez takes into more of the kind of like the dialect expressions. You can change that and make it like a certain way to do it. So we're just going to start off real simple with the first sounds, which is the vowels, the vowel sounds. Okay, in Mirigan, how they write the vowels, we're going to use that, the Mirigan style of writing, and we're going to show you Hugi the method of how to interpret that, how to say that. Now, the first letter is A, and when you say in English, there's like 3 different ways to make when somebody writes an A on the thing. You can say ah or like different kind of sounds. So you have to like read it when they say ball or bat, or ah. So there's 2 different ways that you're hearing there, the same letter, but in autumn, every letter is gonna sound that one way that it's supposed to in the alphabet. So that's the sound. In autumn, you don't say A B C D E F. You say You don't call it an A. You call it an . So is the first sound. And then in the vowels, the way that we learn them, it's just kind of like down the how the way that the vowel the alphabet is structured. So and the next letter is A, E is the next letter. Now this is the hard one. This is the hard how do you say the one that people mess up most of the time. E is a sound that doesn't sound like anything in English. Doesn't sound most like in Spanish. That there's just a few words, but the E is a sound of there's a whole bunch of languages, and our language is one of those that has that sound. It is the sound. Like when you say did you eat that? That kind of and all of them have that sound in the language. Like, or shugai. You hear that you don't find it. So when you're reading in autumn and you see an E, you're always going to say if there's a word that says SAPOE, then you're going to say not sapio. It's going to you're not going to say sapa e. You're going to say sap. There's no silent E in autumn. It's always going to make that sound E. So you see an E again, like I said, it's going to be that sound. And the next one is going to be I. I is always going to be a E sound. E, like two E's. E, E. E, like, let me see, what is E sound? Jisk, jisk, E, jisk, E, jisk. So it's going to be J-I-S-K, jisk. It's never going to have like an I sound, like in English has, again, different sounds for that one letter, but in author it's always going to be I. O is going to be aw. It's like an A-W, aw, aw, aw. So you find like aw, or tum. It's an O, aw, tum, aw, A-W, aw sound, aw. So that's A-E-I-O, and then the last one is U. U is going to be a oo sound, oo, oo. Always going to be that sound. It's not going to be anything else. It's always going to be U. Now, if you look at it that way, the A, I, O, and U, A, I, O, U, all are the same sounds. Like if you're reading in Spanish, when you're reading in Mexican or Spanish, they're the same sounds. A is like mañana, mañana, all of them is the same thing. Has you, pahitach, So I is the same thing like in Spanish. Like you find something like, let me see, what's a Spanish word with an I? Libro, libro, libro. So in autumn you say ipai, ipai. I is the same sound. And in Spanish too, it's not two different sounds except the E. Okay, and then the next one, O, is a like AWR. In Spanish will be the same thing. Wall, water, water, water. Autumn is the O is same, water, water, water. And U is in autumn U, and in Spanish is U, U. So in let me see, what's an Spanish word? Can't think of any Spanish words. There's a lot of them. Susudio. I don't know. But anyway, I can't think right now. But it's a U is a U sound, the same thing in Spanish. I'll probably think of one. Anyway, so U is the U. So, but the E is different in Spanish. Sometimes it's like an or you put a little thing on top of it, or in an autumn it's always going to be a sound. So again, when you're reading in Spanish, remember the E is going to be a sound in autumn. So very different from Spanish and English. There's no silent E again, so E like that. Miss Lisa Horner. Lisa Horner used to teach at the school over there, special ed, and so she would teach her, and I was over here across the way with teaching autumn. She was in there teaching special ed, and so one day, because I go in there sometimes to get tips and stuff. So she one day she was teaching. They were doing the vowels, and she was doing the song, "Oh MacDonald." So she said, "Oh MacDonald had a farm," and then she said she was teaching the vowels, A-E-I-O-U. She just talks like that. She had that dialect. She's a born to be, not a trying to be. She's A-E-I-O-U, and on that farm he had a dog. A-E-I-O-U. So again, that was her teaching. So I took her song and I made it into autumn. So when the kids came over back to the classroom when it was autumn class, I told them, okay, remember that song? Miss Harner taught you that. We're going to change it to autumn, and it's going to be, oh, Mick Lopez had a farm. E-O-U. And on that farm he had a cox. E-O-U. With the here, and you know, like that. So again, that's one way that I had taught those kids how to use that. A-E-I-O-U. So again, those four, A-I-U. Sanavir has this book. I love this book. I've been taking a lot of stuff out of it. But they had this book, and in there is this this picture. You see how the man is, and they're all different, not the same, how do you call it, the same order that I did, but you see how the man is looking, E, O, U. Okay, so start on this side is, with the E is and then the I is E, and then the U is O, oh wait, U, and then the A is and the O is O. So that's the way that your mouth should be when you make that, you know, that sound. E, O, U. Okay, so we have like ban, ba, ban, ban. E is like let me see what else is that. Your blood, and then I is for E is for your what do you call it, your, what do they call it, spurs. E is for. O is like autumn, autumn, or o, and then U is for you, like upio. What's a upio? Upio. I mean, that means a skunk. Okay, skunk. So upio. So again, those are the sounds in the autumn. What they mirgante, and I know guys that a lot of people, and I agree with them. That is, I don't like that it's taught in the schools how to speak autumn, because you really don't. You just get this little bit. When the schools, they kind of teach you stuff, but then you need to go out and, you know, find out for yourself and learn your system, especially your dialect. But if you're going to speak autumn, but if you're going to learn to write it, that's okay. That's why I'm teaching that, just how to read and write. How much? I think the value is, and I used to, you know, wonder what's the value of teaching in autumn, writing, reading. Nobody wants to learn it, and so that's why I'm doing this. But there was a movie, I think it's the movie Squanto, I'm not sure, where the guy comes from England, and he talks about the writing to the chief, and then they say, the chief says, what is that? It's, oh, we learn to communicate with this, and he said, oh, you can't do that, that's not, oh, this is how the white man does it, communicate. And he said, well, show me something. Why is that valuable? What's the value in writing something? And he said, well, you should use it to send messages. Well, do something. So he said, tell me something that guy over there doesn't know. And so he said, he told him something. So he wrote it down, and he wrote a piece of paper and told one of the soldiers, go over there and give it to him. And he ran over there and gave it to him, and that guy came back, and he stood there, and he opened the little thing, and he was looking at it, and he looked at him, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know that. He said, I'm sorry. He said, what is that? What do you mean? And he said, I didn't know that your wife passed away last year with the smallpox. And the chief is kind of like, wow, how did he know that? But then he realized that they were communicating by writing. So and watching that movie, I thought, oh, wow, you know, it's the same thing, like, you know, when we go, and my wife and I, Mrs. Mach, you know, we know how to read and write in autumn, so sometimes we'll send stuff that we don't want anybody else to know, send it in autumn writing, and only those that read can understand that. But those that can't, they just look at it as just letters. There are these weird diacritics, and that's the truth. So again, it's important, I guess, but that I think that to learn to read autumn is something that can be can assist you, but I wouldn't really teach how to read and write. I mean, how to speak in autumn, because again, it's a whole different thing. If I taught somebody, they're going to use my dialect to speak, and yet they might be from Hikiwan or maybe from District 6 or you know, like Salt River. Take a whole different dialect. So I'd rather them to matabamja domai. But I'm just doing this again. So the next one we'll do is the consonants, the English consonants. When I have time, there's a little bit of time that I have here, but also when and when they go out, or when they, you know, I mean, they don't go out, they go, you know, tell her to be quiet, and then they're, you know, wanting to come in, and I want some water. Oh, I'm still recording. Anyway, so the bakeche, and I'll do the next one when I have time for the consonants.